Hi, I'm Callum from Paranormal Sightings UK, and this is what made me get into paranormal. Roll the intro. So welcome back, everyone. How's it all going? My name is Callum from Paranormal Sightings UK, and this is our official YouTube channel. Now, we have had questions over the years. What made you get into paranormal? Why did you want to start it? So I'm here to answer all them questions today. Now, for me, it's going to be a lot different to the other guys, so they'll do a separate video on this. But for me, right, let's break it down. When I was probably around about, I would say 6 or 7 years, I had this massive experience when I was a child. It was mad. I can always remember it to this day. It's probably the most surreal what I've had, like for the paranormal. I can always remember it was in my mum and dad's house. I woke up from my sleep. I look at the end of the bed, and this is 3 children. Now, Victorian style, definitely. You could tell the way they were dressed in the cars. Now, me being me, I got out of bed and I sat in the circle and I started playing with these kids. At the time, I used to share a room with my brother, and my brother was like, "What you doing?" I said, "Just playing with the kids, with the cars." And it was from that point on, I was so intrigued, like the paranormal is very subjective. It's a hard topic to talk about. I believe it is. It really is. It's such a hard topic. You're either a believer or you're an unbeliever. For myself, even though I had that experience, I was always on the fence with it. Now, ever since I got with Becca, now she's bang on at the paranormal. She watches all the documents and everything like that. She was watching a paranormal team. This was a while ago, and I remember it to this day. She was sat in the caravan, and I was like, "What you doing?" She was like, "I'm just watching paranormal." I said, "What you're watching that piece of?" I'm not going to say it on the live, but And she was like, "Because I want to watch it. I find it interesting." Then I took my time to sit down and watch it, and I was like, "This is interesting. All this, you know what I mean? It is. It's so interesting." So I thought, I'm going to give it a go. I wanted to give it a go. So I remember me and Ricky, the first time we went out, we went to this castle. Can't remember the name of it exact, to be precise, but we done the grounds. The one that was inside the castle, so we done the grounds, and that was the first encounter what I ever had. Now I see my spirit animal. I can remember it to this day as well, running back, and I said, "We're going to get mauled to death by a wolf." I seen this wolf. I was like, "We're going to get mauled to death by this wolf." And it was a crazy experience, seeing my spirit animal the first time. We didn't have much activity in spiritual wise other than that, I would say. But that was our first ever encounter, and ever since we've been out on these investigations. We've caught some mind blowing stuff, full apparitions, and we've caught it all really. Us with unexplained voices, our equipment going off when there's nobody near it, sort of thing. And maybe me, me, I try to debunk it all. I try to get my head around it all. And obviously Becca, she does all the readings. My mate from work had a reading. And obviously I was like very skeptical about the readings, I'll be honest. But then she done a reading for myself and picked up on stuff but I didn't even know. I had to go to my mum to ask me mum if it was correct, and she was picking up on stuff like that. Ever for me personally, ever since I've lost my granddad, it's been like, but it's honestly, he's come through on a couple of investigations as well. So it's, for me, it's a lot different to the other guys. And very recently, I lost one of my good mates due to mental health. Again, we lost him. I think it was a week before we went out ghost hunting, and the first word what come through was his name. Now, is that a coincidence? Surely not. Do you know what I mean? So, listen, guys, there's definitely something out there. Nobody ever truly know what That's what I believe, and nobody ever truly know what they are until we pass away. But my personal experience, there's definitely something there, because how can you explain all these full apparitions? What we've had the bear going off squeezed when there's nobody around it. We've had REM pods going off when there's no one near it. We've had devices being moved, pushed over, and that is the paranormal. That is the paranormal. It is the unexplained. But always from this day one, I always think back to when I was a child and that experience what I had. That experience what I had around the little children all dressed up in Victorian old clothes with the old wooden cars. And that was it for me. I always believe, and that was... I can't... Honestly, me explaining it to you guys sounds so unreal. But I was there in that moment with the children playing with the toys. And I can remember I was there that day, my brother said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm with the children." There were 3. Exactly. I don't know what they looked like. I can explain it to you in depth if you would like that. We've got a podcast coming up, so stay tuned to that. But for me, my personal experience out of everything, that has been number 1 when I was a child, believe it or not. And they always say you're more skeptical for stuff like that to happen when you're a child. So yeah, like I say, if this is the first time you've seen us, don't forget my name's Callum, and this is Paranormal Sightings UK official YouTube. We are over on TikTok as well. All the other socials, drop us a follow. But yeah, that is what made me get into the paranormal, the unknown. So yeah, and don't forget everyone, stay spooky.